Have you ever surprised yourself? You watch an English movie and understand almost everything. You listen to a podcast and follow every sentence. You read an article and understand every paragraph. But then, someone asks you a simple question in English. What did you do today? And suddenly, your mind goes completely blank. The words disappear. Your confidence disappears. Even your voice disappears. Why? How is it possible to understand English but not speak it? Here's something that might surprise you. Your brain is not failing. In fact, your brain is doing exactly what it was designed to do. And once you understand why, learning English becomes much easier. Hello, my friends. Welcome back to English Unleashed. I'm Evan. Today, we're going to explore one of the biggest mysteries in language learning: why millions of people understand English but freeze when it's time to speak. By the end of this episode, you'll understand exactly what's happening inside your brain, and more importantly, you'll know how to fix it. Let's begin. Imagine two people. The first person spends an hour every day watching English videos. The second person spends only 15 minutes speaking English. After 1 year, who do you think becomes the better speaker? Most people choose the first person, but the answer is usually the second. Why? Because understanding and speaking are not the same skill. They work together, but they grow differently. This is the mistake almost every English learner makes. They believe, if I keep listening, one day I'll automatically start speaking. It sounds logical, but that's not how the brain learns language. Today, I'll show you why. Many learners spend years improving one skill: listening. Every day, they watch YouTube videos, they listen to podcasts, they watch Netflix. They understand more and more English, and that's wonderful. Listening is one of the most important language skills. But here's the problem. Listening trains your brain to recognize English. Speaking trains your brain to create English. Recognition and creation are completely different processes. Let me explain. Imagine you walk into a room filled with 100 people. Someone asks, "Can you find your best friend?" Of course you can. Within seconds, you recognize their face. Now imagine someone gives you a blank sheet of paper and says, "Draw your best friend's face from memory." That's much harder. The face hasn't disappeared. You still know it. But creating it from memory requires much more effort. Language works exactly the same way. When you hear English, your brain recognizes words. Recognition is fast. Recognition feels comfortable. But when you speak, your brain must build sentences from nothing. It must choose the right vocabulary, the correct grammar, the correct pronunciation, the correct order, all within a few seconds. That is why speaking feels difficult. Not because English is impossible, but because your brain is doing much more work. Let's try a small experiment. If I say apple, you immediately understand. No problem. Now, don't think. Answer this question in English. What did you eat yesterday? Notice what happened. Did your answer come immediately, or did your brain become silent for a moment? That silent moment is extremely important, because during those few seconds, your brain was searching for vocabulary, searching for grammar, searching for confidence, searching for the perfect sentence. And sometimes it searches for so long that you stop speaking completely. Many learners think, "I forgot the English," but that's usually not true. The English is still inside your brain. Your brain simply couldn't retrieve it fast enough. The word retrieve means to find something and bring it back. Think of your memory like a huge library. Every English word you've learned is sitting on a bookshelf. When you listen, someone else finds the book for you. When you speak, you become the librarian. You must find the right word at the right moment under pressure. That's why speaking feels slower. And here's something fascinating. The more often you retrieve a word, the easier it becomes to find again. Scientists sometimes describe this as strengthening a pathway. Imagine walking through a forest. The first time, it's difficult. There are trees everywhere, tall grass, bushes. You move slowly. But if you walk along the same path every day, the path becomes clear. Walking becomes easier. Eventually, you don't even think about it. Speaking English works exactly the same way. Every time you use a word, the pathway becomes stronger. Every sentence makes the next sentence easier. This is why practice matters so much. Not because practice makes perfect. Practice makes retrieval faster. And faster retrieval creates fluent speech. Now, here's another question. If speaking becomes easier through speaking, why do so many learners avoid it? The answer has very little to do with English and almost everything to do with psychology.
Now, here's another question. If speaking becomes easier through speaking, why do so many learners avoid it? The answer has very little to do with English and almost everything to do with psychology. Imagine you're sitting in an English class. The teacher asks, "Can anyone answer this question?" Immediately, your heart starts beating faster. Your hands feel cold. Your mind becomes busy. You know the answer. At least, you think you know the answer. But then, another thought appears. What if I'm wrong? What if everyone laughs? What if my pronunciation sounds strange? What if I make a grammar mistake? Within just a few seconds, your brain stops thinking about English. Instead, it starts thinking about danger. Not physical danger, social danger. The danger of embarrassment. The word embarrassment means feeling uncomfortable because you think other people are judging you. This feeling is completely normal. Every human being experiences it, whether you're learning English, giving a presentation, or meeting new people. Our brains naturally want to protect us. Thousands of years ago, being accepted by your group was necessary for survival. If people rejected you, life became much harder. Even today, our brains still carry that ancient programming. That's why speaking in front of others can feel scary. Your brain isn't trying to stop your English, it's trying to protect you. But here's the problem. The brain cannot always tell the difference between real danger and imagined danger. Making a grammar mistake is not dangerous. Forgetting a word is not dangerous. Mispronouncing a sentence is not dangerous. But your brain sometimes reacts as if it is. Psychologists call this the threat response. When the brain believes you're under pressure, it focuses on survival, not communication. This is one reason why your mind suddenly goes blank. The information hasn't disappeared. Your brain has simply changed its priorities. Instead of helping you speak, it's trying to protect you from embarrassment. Now, let's imagine two English learners. The first learner waits until they feel confident. They think,
When I feel ready, I'll start speaking. The second learner thinks differently. They say, I'll speak first, confidence will come later. Who improves faster? Almost always the second learner. Because confidence is not something you receive. Confidence is something you build. One conversation at a time, one mistake at a time, one small success at a time. Think about riding a bicycle. Nobody becomes confident before getting on the bicycle. Confidence comes after practice. The same is true for English. Many learners believe confidence creates speaking, but the opposite is usually true. Speaking creates confidence. Another hidden problem is perfectionism. Perfectionism sounds like a good quality. After all, everyone wants to do well. But perfectionism often becomes the biggest obstacle. Perfectionists don't want to make mistakes, so they wait. They study more. They memorize more vocabulary. They read more grammar. But they speak less. And because they speak less, their confidence never grows. Imagine trying to learn swimming without entering the water. You could read every swimming book ever written, watch hundreds of videos, understand every technique, but until you enter the pool, you won't become a swimmer. English speaking works exactly the same way. Knowledge prepares you. Practice transforms you. The goal isn't perfect English. The goal is real communication. If people understand your message, you've already succeeded. Even if your grammar isn't perfect, even if your pronunciation isn't perfect, because communication has always been the true purpose of language. So, before we continue, I want you to remember one simple sentence. Don't wait to become confident before speaking. Speak, and confidence will slowly follow. Now, let's talk about another habit that quietly slows down your speaking. And almost every English learner does it. Translating. Imagine someone asks you, "What are your plans for this weekend?" Many learners do something like this. First, they create the answer in their native language. Then, they translate it into English. Then, they check the grammar. Then, they search for better vocabulary. Then, they worry about pronunciation. Only after all of that, they begin speaking. By that time, the conversation has already moved on. This habit feels helpful, but over time, it becomes a barrier. Because real conversations happen quickly. People don't wait for us to translate every sentence. So what do fluent speakers do differently? They don't translate every thought. They connect English directly to meaning. Let's try a simple example. When I say coffee, what happens inside your mind? Do you translate the word? Probably not. You immediately imagine a hot cup of coffee. Maybe you can even smell it. That is direct thinking. The English word connects straight to the image, not through another language. Now, imagine doing this with hundreds of common English words. Slowly, your brain builds a direct connection. English becomes a language you think in, not just a language you translate. And here's the good news. You don't have to think in perfect English. You only need to start with small thoughts. When you wake up, say to yourself, "I'm awake. I'm still sleepy. It's raining today. This coffee smells amazing." When you're walking, think, "The weather is beautiful. I need to buy some milk. I'm running a little late." These are tiny sentences, but they train your brain in a powerful way. They teach your mind to create English naturally, without translating. Another powerful habit is speaking out loud when you're alone. Some people feel strange doing this, but it's one of the fastest ways to improve. Describe your room. Describe your day. Describe what you're cooking. Describe what you're watching. Don't worry if you make mistakes. Nobody's judging you. Every sentence trains your brain. Every sentence strengthens your speaking pathways. Remember, fluency isn't built by perfect conversations. It's built by thousands of imperfect ones. Now I want to leave you with one final thought. Imagine yourself 1 year from today. There are 2 possible futures. In the first future, you keep waiting until your grammar is perfect, waiting until your vocabulary grows, waiting until your confidence magically appears. 1 year passes and nothing changes. In the second future, you decide to speak a little every day. 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Some days are easy, some days are difficult. Some conversations feel great, some feel awkward, but you keep going. Now imagine meeting that future version of yourself. Which version would thank you? The one who kept waiting, or the one who kept speaking? The answer is obvious. Your future English doesn't depend on talent. It depends on today's actions. One sentence, one conversation, one small step at a time. Because every fluent English speaker was once a beginner. Every confident speaker once felt nervous. Every great conversation started with one simple sentence. So don't wait. Start speaking today. Even if it's only for 1 minute, your future self will thank you for it. Thank you for joining me today. If this episode helped you understand why speaking feels difficult, share it with another English learner. You might help them more than you realize. Until next time, keep listening, keep speaking, keep growing. I'm Evan, and this is English Unleashed. Bye for now.